You got clutch.
What's going on, people? It's your main man, Johnny Clutch Cards, aka Johnny Clutch Crypto, back with the weekly Helium update. So let's go to the numbers. 548,000 total hotspots across the world. The current price of helium is at $29.60, which is up roughly 5% over the last maybe week or so, right? Probably over the last day would be my guess. Anyway, and all that shenanigans. Anyway, let's talk about our friend, Rare Carmine Otter, right? So let me pull out a second. Let's talk about our friend, Rare Carmine Otter. Now, last week, I gave you guys an update that I was going to the church and trying to find out. I did drive around. I did try to figure that whole thing out. But I was able to go to the church, and I was able to contact Miss Julie at the church, who was super pleasant, super cool. She didn't have a lot of information on the technical side of what was going on, but she did explain some things to me that I think will give us some insight into what we're seeing here with Rare Carmine Otter. Now, she did give me her email address, so I was able to email her, and she was going to forward that over to their technical director, who's supposed to call me back. He has yet to do so, yet to email me back just yet. So I might have to stop by there again. As you can see, Rare Carmine Otter did have a couple down days. No, a couple down times. This is just 24 hours. It had no down days. It hit 1.96, hit 1.57, hit 1.77, 1.549, 1.497, 1.524, and 1.071. All total, this week, in the last 7 days, 10.9 helium, right? So we looked at the wallet before. The wallet owns a whole bunch of different hotspots everywhere. So in talking to Miss Julie, she was able to give me some information because let's take a look at this here. This is kind of lay of the land here. So the first thing we had to realize is that this is one church. This is Miss Julie's church. And then right here is another church, right? And they're right next door to each other. Now right here where Rare Carmine Otter is a building that belongs to the church, but the church leased out to the constables. I believe Precinct 4 constables used to be stationed here up until probably like maybe a few months ago. So they used to be stationed here. Now, she was saying, so I was thinking maybe there was like a radio tower, something along those lines there. And I was trying to explain to her what helium is and what an HNT miner is and kind of give her the gist of the network. And, she was very, patient with me, which was really awesome. And, but the one thing she did mention is that there's a cell tower back here, and that's run by some third-party company. And that's all the details I got. But that could explain, I don't know how that would work, but that could explain why it still has a base antenna listed here, and it's getting all this reach, all this carry out that is piggying back off of some type of device, some type of plug-in that was built in to this building that facilitates radio communication of some sort, or frequency communication. Because Precinct 4, the Precinct 4 constables. Let's see, Precinct 4 constable, Precinct 4, Harris County. All right, so let's look at Precinct 4, a map of Precinct 4 here. Right, so I wish they just had, I don't need this. I need a map of the precinct, people. All right, we got some things here, so let's take a look here. All right, so we can see here, this is 290. This is the main road that runs by my neighborhood all the way into Houston. And this, north of this, is precinct 4, and it runs all the way over to Kingwood. So basically, Kingwood, Tomball, Spring, all that stuff is precinct 4. So it would need coverage that was able to reach out a long distance for communication purposes. So that could be what we're seeing here that's contributing to rare Carmine Otter. I'm still waiting on a return email. Last I checked the email earlier today, hadn't received any information back. So I might have to stop back by the back by the church again and talk to Miss Julie and just see if I can get some communication and see if maybe we can get whoever runs it to, maybe even do an interview or get on to our weekly update and just talk about how they're set up. Once again, if we dig into this account, you see it's only 45 helium in balance right now, but you can see that there are tons of hotspots, 94 hotspots currently listed under this particular wallet. So this is definitely has to be some type of business, and it may be a business that targets churches. Like, I mean, that, when I thought about it, I thought that was a pretty good idea, right? If you go, there are churches everywhere. They're usually, not just one story. Typically they're going to be 2-story buildings in many cases. And they might have, even higher, where, maybe they have a bell or something like that, a bell tower or something like that. They can be typically high. They have high platforms where maybe you can do a custom mount or a custom setup or a custom antenna, because the other things that churches do, particularly down here in the South, is they broadcast their services. So if they're broadcasting their services, obviously they're sending a signal out, and they might have equipment that, the helium miner may be able to piggyback off of. Not sure about that. We still have to get more information, but we are chipping away at that this mystery that we're trying to uncover here with rare Carmine Otter, and figure out how we can get our miners to pop like these. Now, due to that whole thing about the cell tower and knowing that there was a constable office there, that they communicate over radio. Theoretically, they'd be communicating over radio. That those opportunities may not be the same, but until we know for sure, there's still hope, right? So we're going to keep on hoping. If we come back and let's get into our actual miners, our guy Abel Bronze Tapir, he's just hotspot is relayed. Man, my hotspot better not be relayed. I'll test this after I get off of here. My hotspot typically has not been relayed. It's been doing pretty good. 2.2 HNT over the last week. Not as high as earnings as it was getting. Like, we were, consistently around 0.5, 0.6 back in November. Now, you see our high day was 0.46, 0.436, pardon me, and 0.434 respectively. So, it hasn't been what we would have liked, but we'll take it, man. 5.8 HNT is still, 4.8 HNT is still pretty good. For 30 days, we've been plugging away. And like I said, it's been pretty automatic here at the house. We did have a little freeze, so I did go up there and check on the monitor just to make sure everything was still working pretty good. No issues there. So 11.7 HNT over the last 30 days. No complaints there. Okay? No complaints at all there. So now let's jump to the one that we put with our friend and our buddy of ours, Nutty Chiffon here. I'm going to jump there. All right. Now, Nutty Chiffon here, this is really weird, right? Because this has a 5.8 dBi antenna. And I get it, it's 3 meters up, but the coverage should be so much better. This is a Bobcat 300, and we really got to kind of get to the bottom of what's going on here. You can see over the last 30 days, over the last 24 hours, 0.074 HNT. That's no bueno. And then we look at over 7 day period, 0.548. So this is better than what it was doing at my other relative's house, but still not where it should be. So I really think there's something wrong with this Bobcat. I just really hadn't had time to kind of dig into it to, see what solutions can be discovered. So if you have a Bobcat or you have a monitor that's had this type of issue where it just doesn't seem like it's reaching out, like I don't know if it's a bad connection on the antenna, I don't know, I'm not sure what it is, but there's something definitely going wrong here. Over a 30-day period, 3 HNT. I mean, it's much better because like you weren't getting 1 HNT before. But I thought it was possibly my the burglar bars on the other house that was causing the issue, but it doesn't appear to be that. So we'll have to keep working on that one, right? So let's look at wonderful Jetblack. Marmot. Yeah. All right. So we're going to jump to our other big dog. All right. So this is our big dog here doing this thing. 12 stories up. 8 dBi antenna on them. So let's see. Last 24 hours, 0.5 HNT. Last 7 days, 3.7 HNT. Last 14 days, 6.9 HNT. And looking at 12 over the last 30 days, including, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of no earnings at all. So if we were around, let's say 0.5, that's at least another 1 HNT that we missed out on in that situation. So it says suboptimal transmit skill. Okay, we can take a look at that later. But you can see the reach is still here pretty good. 7 day beacons look good. Total witnessed looks good as well. The activity has been really solid, and been pretty much set it and forget it for some time. This also is a Bobcat 300. I got both these Bobcats at the same time in the same batch, so it seems like this one works much better, right? Even taking into account the antenna. Because I believe we ran it with the base antenna for like a week, and it was doing way better than that other one that we were looking at. Granted, it is higher up, but at the same time, you would expect more. Like you expect more production there. So I don't know. I might look to either call Bobcat to say, maybe this is defective or something's wrong with it. I don't know. I don't know what I can do, but I need to figure out an alley of redress on that particular Bobcat just to try to figure out what's going on with it. And I don't want to open it up knowing that there's a problem with it. So there's that. So that's wonderful Jetblack Marmot. As you can see, is doing pretty good. Now, these two units, both wonderful Jetblack Marmot and Able Bronze Tapir, I haven't touched these guys in quite some time. I don't even get into doing anything to them unless they show up offline for some reason, and then I can go back and then deal with that thing there. So now let's go to hotspots, and we're going to jump here. Now this is one of our Browin MerryIOT miners. It's syncing. Like it's had a bunch of issues trying to get on the blockchain recently. As you can see, over 7 days, it only made 0.166 helium, or current at today's price is $4.88. Only 0.215 so far. So this one's been up maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks. I put it up. Now this still has a 1.2 dBi antenna on it, but it's had problems staying online to the point that like I get constant. I hear a lot of people complain about the miner going offline and saying it's offline, and then after some time it goes back online. Well, I get that same kind of issue with this one, and as you can see right now, it's syncing, and we're going to see what happens with that. Now, it's our first Browin MerryIOT miner that we've deployed. and we were trying to let it run with the 1.2 dBi just to see what it was going to do here. But we might have to, do something different or move away or take this one down, because we also have another MerryIOT miner in addition to our mile site, which we have to deploy as well. So, that being said, some of the sites that we're looking at is, there's a site here that we're looking at, but there's also one down here in the West Timer area that we're looking at as well. Also, we can go back to our site that we had down in this area at a relative's house, now that we know that it might be a problem with the Bobcat and not a problem with the site itself. So maybe if we take that 5.8 dBi, put it on the mile site, or just put the mile site down here, deploy it here, and just kind of see what it does. And then, see if it's better or worse. And then we can tell whether or not this location is a bad location versus it being a bad miner. So those are some of the things that we're looking at doing. And I think that kind of covers it. We also be having I should have a video coming out this week. Excuse me. that will be covering how to replace your antenna. So if you have any issues replacing antennas or changing antennas out, this video will cover that. And we'll be looking to continue expanding our deployments. Now, I think I'm going to hold off on buying any more helium miners for a while, at least until I get these 6 fully deployed and fully up and running. So with that being said, that's the update for the week. My name is Johnny Clutch Cards. I'm having a hard time talking right now. Johnny Clutch Cards, aka Johnny Clutch Crypto. As always, I'm for the people, by the people. You only got me and the Constitution. Remember that.